The voicemail crackles in my ear as an unfamiliar female voice speaks, each word hitting me like a punch to the gut. I have proof your husband was having an affair. If you want to know the truth, meet me at Cafe Rialto tomorrow at noon. I nearly dropped my phone, my hand trembling. Kyle? An affair? It can't be. We've been happily married for a decade with 2 beautiful children. He's not the cheating type, is he? My mind races as I go through the motions of getting Zach and Emma ready for bed. I plaster on a fake smile, reading them a bedtime story, while inside I'm screaming. Once they're asleep, I confront Kyle in our bedroom. Who is she? I demand, my voice shaking with anger and fear. Kyle looks up from his laptop, confused. Who is who? What are you talking about, Paige? I play the voicemail on speaker. His face pales. It's not what you think, he stammers. It's just a misunderstanding. Don't lie to me, I snap, hot tears stinging my eyes. How could you do this to us, to our family? Our voices rise, arguing back and forth until Zach appears in the doorway, rubbing his eyes sleepily. Mommy? Daddy? Why are you fighting? My heart breaks seeing my son's scared face. I take a deep breath, trying to compose myself. It's nothing, sweetie. Go back to bed. But as I tuck him in again, I know things will never be the same. The seed of doubt has been planted. The next day I meet the mystery caller at the cafe. She introduces herself as Amber, a friend of Kyle's secretary Trina. With shaking hands, she slides a manila envelope across the table. I'm sorry, she says quietly, but you deserve to know the truth. Inside are photos of Kyle and Trina in intimate embraces, undeniable evidence of their affair. The pain hits me like a tidal wave, drowning me in despair. How could he betray me like this? Betray our children? I stumble home in a daze, the photos clutched in my hand. Kyle is in the kitchen, whistling as he makes a sandwich. Rage boils up inside me. Get out, I say through gritted teeth, throwing the photos at him. Get out of my house, you lying, cheating bastard. Kyle's face drains of color as he sees the incriminating evidence. He tries to stammer excuses, but I'm not listening. I'm already dialing the number of the most ruthless divorce lawyer in town. I want full custody of the kids, I tell the lawyer, my voice hard as steel. And I want to bleed him dry financially. He needs to pay for what he's done. As I hang up, I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the mirror. My eyes are red from crying, but there's a new determination in them. Kyle has destroyed our marriage and our family, and I won't rest until I make him regret it. I storm into the living room, the incriminating photos clutched in my trembling hands. Kyle looks up from his laptop, his brow furrowed in confusion. We need to talk, I say, my voice shaking with barely contained rage, about your affair with Trina. His eyes widen for a split second before he quickly composes himself. I don't know what you're talking about, Paige. There is no affair. I throw the photos onto the coffee table. They fan out, each one a damning snapshot of his infidelity. Don't lie to me, Kyle. I have proof. How could you do this to me? To our family? Kyle stands up, running a hand through his hair. It's not what it looks like. Trina and I, we're just friends. Those photos are taken out of context. Friends don't kiss like that, I shout, jabbing a finger at a particularly intimate image. Friends don't sneak around behind their spouse's back. You've been cheating on me, admit it. Our voices escalate, hurling accusations and denials back and forth. The commotion wakes up the kids. Zach and Emma appear at the top of the stairs, their eyes wide with fear. Mommy? Daddy? What's going on? Zach asks, his voice small and scared. I feel a pang of guilt for arguing in front of them, but I can't back down. Not about this. Go back to bed, kids, Kyle says, forcing a smile. Mommy and I are just having a little disagreement. About what? Emma asks innocently. I open my mouth to tell them the truth, but Kyle cuts me off. It's grown-up stuff, sweetie. Nothing for you to worry about. Now off to bed, both of you. Reluctantly, they retreat to their rooms. I turn back to Kyle, my eyes narrowed. This conversation isn't over. I want the truth, Kyle. All of it. He sighs, rubbing his temples. Fine. You want the truth? Yes. Trina and I have gotten close, but it's not a full-blown affair. We've just kissed a few times. It was a mistake, I swear. A mistake? I scoff. Cheating on your wife and lying about it is more than just a mistake. It's a betrayal. It's unforgivable. I'm sorry, Paige. I never meant to hurt you. It won't happen again, I promise. Let's just forget about this and move on. Forget about it? You expect me to just sweep this under the rug and play happy family? I trusted you, Kyle. I built a life with you, and you threw it all away for some young secretary. I can't just forget that. Tears sting my eyes, but I blink them back. I won't let him see me cry. Not anymore. I think you should leave, I say quietly, my voice cold as ice. Go stay with your mistress. You two deserve each other. Paige, please, Kyle begs. Don't do this. Think of the kids. Think of our family. You should have thought of that before you cheated, I snap. Now get out of my house before I call the police and have you forcibly removed. Kyle stares at me for a long moment, his eyes searching mine for any hint of mercy. But I have none left to give. Finally, he grabs his keys and walks out the door, slamming it behind him. I sink onto the couch, my body shaking with silent sobs. How did we get here? Just yesterday, I thought we had the perfect life. Now it's all crumbling down around me. But as I sit there, staring at the photos of my husband's betrayal, a new emotion rises up inside me. Stronger than the pain, stronger than the heartbreak. Anger. White-hot, all-consuming anger. Kyle thinks he can just apologize and move on, but I won't let him off that easy. He needs to pay for what he's done, and I'll make sure he does, even if it's the last thing I do. The next morning, I'm woken up by the ping of a new email on my phone. It's from an unknown sender with the subject line, "More proof of Kyle's affair." My stomach twists as I open the attachment. It's a video, grainy and low quality, but unmistakable. Kyle and Trina, tangled up in each other's arms, kissing passionately in what looks like a hotel room. The timestamp shows it was recorded just last week. I feel sick. How long has this been going on? How many times has he snuck away to be with her while I was at home, taking care of our children? I forward the video to my lawyer, along with the photos from yesterday. I want sole custody of the kids, I type. He's an unfit father. Use this evidence to make sure he never sees them again. My lawyer responds within minutes. This is exactly what we need to bury him in court. Don't worry, Paige. We'll make him pay. A grim satisfaction settles over me. Kyle thinks he can just walk away from our marriage unscathed, but he has no idea what's coming for him. I scroll through my contacts until I find Amber's number, the woman who first told me about the affair. I hit call. I need your help, I say when she picks up. I need to know everything about Trina, where she lives, where she works, what she does in her free time. I need ammunition to destroy her life like she destroyed mine. Amber is quiet for a moment. I'll see what I can find out, she finally says. But Paige, be careful. Don't let revenge consume you. It's too late for that, I say before hanging up. The next few days pass in a blur of lawyer meetings and hushed phone calls. I barely sleep, barely eat. All I can think about is making Kyle suffer. And then, a bombshell. Amber emails me a medical record she managed to obtain through a friend who works at Trina's doctor's office. Trina is pregnant, 8 weeks along. The timing lines up perfectly with Kyle's affair. The baby is his. I see red. Not only did he cheat on me, he got his mistress pregnant. He's starting a whole new family while abandoning the one he already has. I storm into my lawyer's office, slamming the medical record down on his desk. I want a paternity test, I demand. As soon as that baby is born, and when it proves Kyle is the father, I want him to pay child support. I want his mistress to bleed him dry financially, just like he's doing to me with this divorce. My lawyer nods, a glint in his eye. We'll file a petition for a paternity test as soon as the baby arrives. In the meantime, let's discuss alimony. With this new development, we can argue for a much higher amount. For the first time in days, I feel a flicker of hope. Kyle may have destroyed our marriage, but I won't let him destroy me. I'll take everything from him, just like he took everything from me. That night, I tuck Zach and Emma into bed, kissing their foreheads gently. I love you both so much, I whisper. I promise, I'll always fight for you. I won't let anyone hurt our family again. As I close their bedroom door, my phone buzzes with a new text message. It's from Kyle. I'm sorry, it reads. I never meant for any of this to happen. Can we please just talk, for the sake of the kids? I stare at the screen, my finger hovering over the reply button. A part of me wants to believe him, wants to hope that we can somehow salvage our marriage. But then I remember the video, the photos, the baby. There's nothing left to talk about, I type back. You made your choice. Now live with the consequences. I hit send and block his number. He's dead to me now, and I won't rest until I've buried him. The divorce proceedings are uglier than I ever could have imagined. Kyle and his lawyer fight me on every point, dragging out the process and draining my bank account with endless legal fees. But the worst blow comes when they bring up my history of postpartum depression. Your Honor, we have concerns about Mrs. Sullivan's mental stability, Kyle's lawyer argues in court. After the birth of their second child, she suffered from severe postpartum depression. Can we really trust her to have sole custody of the children? I sit there, stunned, as he presents medical records and therapist notes detailing my struggle. I glance at Kyle, expecting to see some hint of remorse or guilt on his face. But he just stares straight ahead, his expression blank. That was years ago, my lawyer counters. Mrs. Sullivan has been nothing but a devoted and capable mother since then. Mr. Sullivan, on the other hand, has demonstrated a pattern of deceit and infidelity. He is the one who is unfit to parent. The judge looks between us, her brow furrowed. I'll take this under consideration. For now, temporary joint custody will continue. But, Mr. Sullivan, I must warn you, if there is any evidence that your affair has negatively impacted your children, it will be held against you in the final custody decision. Kyle nods, his jaw clenched. I feel a flicker of satisfaction. He may have tried to use my past against me, but his own sins are coming back to haunt him. As we leave the courthouse, I spot a familiar face in the crowd of reporters. Trina, Kyle's mistress, her belly just starting to swell with their illegitimate child. She catches my eye and smirks, placing a possessive hand on her stomach. I feel a surge of rage so strong it nearly knocks me off my feet. That night, I pour myself a large glass of wine and open up my laptop. If Kyle wants to play dirty, I'll show him just how low I can go. I create a fake social media profile and start digging into Trina's online presence. It doesn't take long to uncover some skeletons in her closet, racy photos from her college days, posts alluding to past drug use and promiscuity. I compile it all into a neat little file and anonymously send it to her employer, her family, her friends. Let's see how she likes having her dirty laundry aired for all to see. A few days later, I get a frantic call from Kyle. "What the hell did you do?" he shouts. "Trina got fired from her job. Her parents kicked her out of the house. Are you trying to ruin her life?" "Like you ruined mine?" I say coldly. "Consider it a taste of your own medicine. You two deserve each other." I hang up, feeling a twisted sense of triumph. But it's short-lived. The next day, I'm served with a stack of legal papers. Kyle is suing me for defamation of character and intentional infliction of emotional distress. He's seeking full custody of the kids and a restraining order against me. My lawyer reads through the documents, his face grim. "This is serious, Paige. If he can prove you were behind the attack on Trina, it could badly hurt your case. The judge might see you as vindictive and unstable." I feel like I'm drowning. Every move I make to fight back against Kyle seems to blow up in my face. But I refuse to give up. I've come too far to let him win now. I drain my savings account to pay my legal bills. I take out a second mortgage on the house. I start working overtime at my job, barely seeing my kids except to kiss them goodnight. I'm exhausted physically and emotionally, but I won't stop. Not until Kyle has lost everything, just like I have. In the end, the judge sides with me on custody. But Kyle's lawsuit has left me financially devastated. I'm up to my eyeballs in debt, barely able to keep the lights on and food on the table. As I tuck Zach and Emma in one night, fighting back tears of despair, I make them a promise. "I will make this right," I whisper fiercely. "I will make your father pay for what he's done to us, no matter what it takes." The bills keep piling up, an endless stream of overdue notices and threatening letters. Between the legal fees and the cost of supporting two households, Kyle and Trina have bled me dry financially. I've had to take a second job just to keep the lights on and put food on the table for Zach and Emma. Most nights, I come home long after they're asleep, collapsing into bed for a few short hours before starting the grueling cycle all over again. My parents help out where they can, watching the kids when I'm at work and slipping me cash when they think I'm not looking. But their own retirement savings will only stretch so far. I can't keep relying on them forever. Kyle, of course, is no help at all. He claims his own finances are strained, what with Trina's pregnancy and their new apartment. He's always conveniently short on his child support payments, leaving me to make up the difference. I feel like I'm drowning. suffocating under the weight of my mounting debt and responsibilities. Some days, it's all I can do to drag myself out of bed in the morning, but I refuse to let Kyle see me crumble. Whenever we meet to exchange the kids for his visitation days, I plaster on a smile and hold my head high, no matter how exhausted and hopeless I feel inside. "You're looking well, Paige," he says one day, his tone dripping with condescension. "I guess single motherhood suits you." I clench my fists so hard my nails bite into my palms. "No thanks to you," I say through gritted teeth. "You may have abandoned your family, but I will never stop fighting for our children." He just smirks. "Keep telling yourself that. But we both know you're one missed mortgage payment away from losing the house and having to beg me for a place to stay." It takes every ounce of self-control I possess not to slap the smug look off his face, but I won't give him the satisfaction of seeing me lose control. That night, I sit at the kitchen table, surrounded by bills and bank statements, trying to figure out how I'm going to make ends meet this month. I've already maxed out my credit cards and drained my meager savings account. I'm out of options as I bury my face in my hands, fighting back tears of despair. My phone buzzes with an incoming call from an unknown number. "Hello?" I say warily. "Paige, it's me." The voice on the other end is whispered, urgent. It's Amber. My heart leaps into my throat. I haven't heard from her since she helped me uncover evidence of Kyle's affair all those months ago. "Amber, what's going on? Is everything okay?" "I don't have much time," she says hurriedly, "but I think I know a way to make Kyle pay for what he's done to you, a way to hit him where it really hurts." I sit up straighter, my pulse quickening. I'm listening. "I have a friend. Well, more of a contact, really. He's a hacker, a good one. He might be able to help you get into Kyle's company's financial records, make it look like he's been embezzling money. If he gets caught, he could lose his job, maybe even face criminal charges." I'm silent for a long moment, my mind racing. It's a huge risk. If I get caught, I could go to jail myself, lose my kids for real this time. But the thought of Kyle finally facing some real consequences for his actions is too tempting to resist. "What do I need to do?" I ask, my voice steady with resolve. "Meet me tomorrow night, 8 p.m., at the old abandoned warehouse on the edge of town. Come alone. I'll introduce you to my contact, and we can discuss the details." I take a deep breath, my heart hammering in my chest. I'll be there. As I hang up the phone, I feel a flicker of something I haven't felt in a long time. Hope. Kyle may have taken everything from me, but I'm about to take something even more precious from him: his freedom. The abandoned warehouse looms before me, a hulking silhouette against the night sky. I take a deep breath, trying to calm my racing nerves, and push open the rusted door. Amber is waiting for me inside, her face illuminated by the glow of a single bare light bulb. Next to her stands a man I've never seen before, his features obscured by the shadows. "Paige, thanks for coming," Amber says, her voice echoing in the empty space. "This is my contact, the one I told you about." The man steps forward, extending a hand. "Call me Ghost," he says, his grip firm and cold. "I hear you have a problem that needs solving." I nod, swallowing hard. "My ex-husband. He's ruined my life. I want to make him pay." Ghost smiles, a thin, humorless thing. "I can help with that, but it won't be cheap or easy." "I don't care about the cost," I say, my voice hard with determination. "I'll do whatever it takes." He nods, reaching into his jacket pocket and pulling out a small flash drive. "This contains a virus, a sophisticated one. It's designed to infiltrate your ex's company's financial records and create false evidence of embezzlement, enough to send him to prison for a long time." My heart pounds in my chest as I reach for the drive with trembling fingers. "How do I use it?" "You'll need access to his work computer," Ghost explains. "The virus will do the rest. But Paige, once you do this, there's no going back. Are you sure you're ready for the consequences?" I think of all the sleepless nights I've spent crying myself to sleep, of the endless bills and the mounting debt, of the smug look on Kyle's face every time he drops off the kids, knowing he's left me to struggle while he plays house with his pregnant mistress. "I'm sure," I say, my voice steady. "He deserves this." Amber puts a hand on my shoulder, her eyes filled with concern. "Paige, I know you're angry, but this is a big risk. If you get caught—" "I won't get caught," I snap. "Kyle has taken everything from me. My home, my savings, my dignity. I have nothing left to lose. Ghost nods, a glimmer of respect in his eyes. Then let's get started. Over the next few hours, he walks me through the plan. I'll need to break into Kyle's office after hours, when the building is empty. Ghost will disable the security cameras and give me a key card to access the floor. Once I'm inside, I'll need to find Kyle's computer and insert the flash drive. The virus will do the rest, planting false trails of money transfers and doctored financial records. By the time Kyle realizes what's happening, it will be too late. The evidence will be overwhelming. He'll be fired, disgraced, maybe even arrested. As I leave the warehouse clutching the flash drive, I feel a sense of grim determination settle over me. This is it, my chance to finally make Kyle pay for all the pain he's caused. The next night, I wait until the kids are asleep before slipping out of the house. Ghost has given me everything I need: the key card, the floor plans, the virus. My hands shake as I swipe the key card and enter the darkened building. The offices are silent and still, the only sound the hum of the air conditioning. I make my way to Kyle's office, my heart pounding in my ears. His computer is password protected, but Ghost has given me a device to bypass the login screen. With trembling fingers, I insert the flash drive and watch as the virus uploads. It's done in a matter of seconds, no trace left behind. As I slip back out of the building, I feel a sense of savage triumph. Kyle may have destroyed my life, but I'm about to destroy his. Let him see how it feels to lose everything he holds dear. The next few days pass in a blur of nervous anticipation. Every time my phone rings, I jump, expecting it to be the police, or worse, Kyle demanding to know what I've done. But as the week stretches on with no word, I start to breathe easier. Maybe I actually pulled this off. Maybe for once, justice will be served. And then, on Friday morning, I get the call I've been waiting for. It's Amber, her voice breathless with excitement. "Paige, turn on the news," she says urgently. "It's happening." With shaking hands, I flip on the TV. There, splashed across the screen, is Kyle's face, his expression a mask of shock and anger. "Breaking news," the anchor intones. Kyle Sullivan, high-ranking executive at tech giant Novus Industries, has been arrested on charges of embezzlement and fraud. According to authorities, Sullivan allegedly funneled millions of dollars from company accounts into his own pockets over the course of several years. If convicted, he faces up to 20 years in prison. I sink onto the couch, my legs suddenly weak. I did it. I actually did it. Kyle is finally getting what he deserves. As I watch the news coverage unfold, I feel a sense of grim satisfaction. Interviews with Kyle's coworkers and subordinates paint a picture of a man who was arrogant, entitled, and quick to throw others under the bus to get ahead. "He always acted like he was untouchable," one colleague says, his face blurred to protect his identity. Like the rules didn't apply to him. I guess he finally pushed his luck too far. I can't help but smile. If only they knew the truth. But my triumph is short-lived, because the next day I get another call, this time from my lawyer. "Paige, we have a problem," he says, his voice grave. "Kyle is claiming that you set him up, that you planted evidence to frame him for embezzlement as revenge for the divorce." My blood runs cold. "What? That's ridiculous. How could I have done that?" "I don't know," my lawyer sighs, "but he's threatening to go to the police with his suspicions. If they start digging into your background, your finances, Paige, this could get very ugly, very fast." I hang up the phone, my mind racing. I thought I had covered my tracks, but what if I missed something? What if Kyle somehow figures out what I did? I pace the house, my stomach tied in knots. I can't go to jail. I can't leave my kids without a mother. But I can't let Kyle get away with this either. As if on cue, my phone buzzes with an incoming text. It's from Trina. "I know what you did," it reads, "and I have proof. Meet me at the park in 1 hour, or I go to the police." My heart pounds in my chest as I read the message over and over again. This can't be happening. I was so careful. How could she possibly know? But I have no choice. I have to meet her, have to find out what she knows and how to stop her. An hour later, I'm sitting on a bench in the park, my leg bouncing nervously. Trina appears out of nowhere, her pregnant belly straining against her tight dress. "Well, well, well," she smirks, lowering herself onto the bench beside me. "If it isn't the woman who ruined my life." "I don't know what you're talking about," I say through gritted teeth. She laughs, a harsh, mocking sound. "Please, I know all about your little plan with Amber and that hacker friend of hers. Did you really think you could frame Kyle and get away with it? My blood turns to ice in my veins. She knows. Oh God, she knows everything. What do you want? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Trina's smile widens. I want half. Half of what? Half of the money Kyle stole. I know he has it hidden away somewhere. You're going to help me find it, or I'll make sure you go down with him. I stare at her, my mind reeling. The money, of course. Kyle must have been planning to run away with Trina and their baby, start a new life somewhere with his ill-gotten gains. And now she's dragging me into their sordid little scheme. I take a deep breath, trying to calm my racing heart. I'm in too deep to back out now. Fine, I say, my voice hard. I'll help you, but if you double-cross me, I swear to God I'll make you regret it. Trina just smiles, her eyes glittering with malice. Oh, honey, she purrs. You have no idea who you're dealing with. In the end, Trina's greed is her undoing. She gets sloppy, starts flashing around expensive jewelry and designer clothes, drawing attention to herself. It doesn't take long for the authorities to put two and two together. They raid her apartment and find the missing money, along with evidence tying her to Kyle's embezzlement scheme. She tries to throw me under the bus, of course, telling the police that I was in on it from the beginning. But I've been careful to keep my distance, to make sure there's no paper trail linking me to their crimes. And so, while Kyle and Trina go down in flames, I emerge unscathed. The wronged wife, the innocent victim. No one suspects a thing. The divorce is finalized quickly after that. With Kyle in jail and his assets seized, I'm awarded sole custody of the kids and the house. Trina, facing charges of her own, doesn't even try to fight for visitation rights to their baby. Life slowly returns to normal. I quit my second job, able to support my family on my own now that I'm not drowning in legal fees and debt. Zach and Emma start to heal, to rebuild their trust in me. But I know I can never let my guard down completely. I've seen firsthand how quickly everything can fall apart, how easily trust can be shattered. And so I keep a close eye on my finances, on my kids' social media accounts. I install security cameras around the house, change the locks on all the doors. I'll never be caught off guard again. A year to the day after Kyle's arrest, I get an unexpected visitor. It's my old friend Amber, her face lined with worry. Paige, I need to talk to you, she says, her voice urgent. It's about Ghost. My heart skips a beat at the mention of the hacker's name. I haven't heard from him since that night in the warehouse, haven't dared to reach out. What about him? I ask, trying to keep my voice steady. He's dead, Amber says, her eyes filling with tears. They found his body last week in a dumpster behind some seedy motel. The police are saying it was an overdose, but I don't believe it. Paige, I think someone killed him. I feel like I've been punched in the gut. Ghost, dead? It doesn't seem possible. But even as I try to process the news, a small, selfish part of me feels relief. He was the only other person who knew what I'd done, the only loose end that could unravel everything. I'm so sorry, Amber, I say, reaching out to squeeze her hand. I know how much he meant to you. She nods, wiping away her tears. I just wanted you to know, to be careful. If someone was willing to kill Ghost to keep their secret safe, who knows what else they're capable of. I promise her I'll be careful, that I'll watch my back. But even as the words leave my mouth, I know it's a lie. I'm done being careful. I'm done living in fear. Kyle thought he could destroy me, but I've proven him wrong. I've taken everything he held dear, just like I promised I would. And I've come out the other side stronger, smarter, more powerful than ever. No one will ever hurt me or my family again. I'll make sure of it. Months pass and life settles into a new rhythm. I start dating again. Nothing serious, just casual dinners and movie nights with a coworker named Alex. He's kind and funny and good with the kids. He makes me feel safe, cherished, in a way I haven't felt in a long time. And slowly, gradually, I start to let my guard down. To believe that maybe, just maybe, I can have a fresh start. A chance at happiness. But then, one night, as Alex and I are leaving a restaurant hand in hand, I spot a familiar face across the street. It's Kyle, his prison jumpsuit replaced by a cheap suit, his face gaunt and haggard, and he's staring straight at me, his eyes burning with hatred. In that moment, I realize the truth. It's not over. It will never be over. Because in the end, revenge isn't sweet. It's a poison a cancer that eats away at your soul until there's nothing left but bitterness and rage. And I've let it consume me, let it turn me into someone I barely recognize. As I watch Kyle disappear into the shadows, I make a silent vow to be better, to be stronger, to break the cycle of pain and destruction, for my kids, for myself. It's time to let go of the past and start building a future where love, not vengeance, guides my every step.